Thank you so much for joining us today. I am excited because I have with me here Theo, who is going to talk to us about his journey as an entrepreneur. But I know that all of you who are attending this conference today, you have a lot of questions to ask him because there's a lot of wealth of wisdom that is going to come from him. I have engaged and I've met Theo for so many years. I believe that there is a lot that us as entrepreneurs we can learn from him, from his story. There's nothing as beautiful as a story of an entrepreneur who is doing well, who is driven, and who is aligned to his business. Because in business, the only thing that one has to start off with is to ensure that you are aligned with your passion and the vision of your business. So welcome, Theo. Thank you so much for accepting this invite to come and have a conversation between us and to us to inspire the people at the conference, to inspire the world, and to also give hope to our entrepreneurs. Can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you so much for the invite. I couldn't say no to such a great initiative. This conference speaks to my heart. I can resonate with the purpose, and the objective of this. So thanks again for the invite. Really, really appreciate it. My name is Theo Baloyi. I'm the founder of Africa's premium sneaker brand, Bathu. I'm just a guy that sells shoes.
You are more than that. I totally think you are more than that because the shoes that you are selling have now, people who are working in them, they feel so great. Are you aware that you're actually in the space of making people feel good about themselves?
It's quite humbling, to hear you say that, because when we started the business, our core principle actually in the business is that we want to start a shoe brand that Africans can proudly affiliate with, and while doing that, we want to reignite hope, and create sustainable jobs. And that's why I'm quite, humbled and pleased, to know that our brand, has created such a great impact in our society.
Let me tell you, I'm wearing the sneakers, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm at the garage. I was just pouring petrol. You know how many compliments I got today?
That's good. And I think that's what product should do. Product should, initiate that cool factor from our clients, and that's what our shoes does.
Definitely. You spoke about reigniting, but let's talk about reinventing yourself. The topic today, we are talking about how do you reinvent yourself in business. I do believe that many of us find ourselves at a point of stagnation, or we call it the cul-de-sac moment. Or how can we find new ways of continuously improving our business to become better at it and also finding solutions for it. So Theo, my friend.
Yeah.
It has been how many years now?
About 5 years now. And it's been a very, very inspiring journey. I've learned a lot. I'm still learning a lot. It's been quite exciting, and it couldn't have been possible, without the support of our people, our clients. Like you just said now, when you're wearing your shoes, the compliments that you're getting. I think there's a lot of people that feel like that who have supported us in this journey. It's been 5 years.
It looks like it has been smooth for you.
I like that. It looks like.
It's not.
It's not entirely, because, there's so much that goes into building the business. I often say is that with the nature of my business, there's three important segments, there's basically, the brand side of it, there's the value chain, and there's the back office or the business side of it, and having started from humble beginnings in a room in Alex, with a vision to, like I said, to build a shoe brand that Africans can proudly affiliate with, and also to create sustainable jobs and reignite hope. I used to do everything in the business when I started. All these boxes, I would pack them and put them in the boot of my car, and go sell, and do our own social media, do PR, do the strategy of the business, the marketing side of things, so putting that together, like I said, the brand, the value chain, and the business, it hasn't been an easy journey because from us, right, the means of our value chain, we own and control the end-to-end of our value chain, from the means of production to the warehousing facility where we are now, our office as well, to the packaging side of things, to taking the product, putting in our own truck, delivering it to our own stores, employing our own people, to sell to our own people. Everything else that we do, we are not funded by anyone. We are 100% black-owned business. We've never received any sort of funding from anyone, public and private equity. We've never received any sort of funding from financial institutions.
Wow.
I used my own savings, 5 years ago when I was still with PricewaterhouseCoopers. I'm an accountant by profession. I worked for them for about 5 years. I used the savings that I put together for 5 years as seed capital to start the business.
Wow.
Till this day, I've never received sort of 10 rand or 1 rand from any sort of financial institution, public and private. Yeah.
We thought you are covered.
Looks like it, but I am. I am in a sense. But what I'm trying to say is that coverage is something that we've built our own.
The reason why I'm saying I thought you are covered, I know how many entrepreneurs out there don't believe that they can start a business that is viable without thinking of they need funding.
100%. And then I think that's one thing that I always try to advocate at the time, And I think it also depends on the nature of the business, the dynamics of the business, the economics of the industry as well,
Yeah.
So with me, look, retail is capital intensive.
It is.
It requires a lot of, there's especially with the route that I'm going in terms of building brick and mortar stores. It's capital intensive. You really have large capex pool, to invest in, and an OPEX as well, But for me, I think it also goes down to the vision of the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I've always believed in building with our own resources. I was joking around with a friend yesterday. I was like, I don't franchise, I don't finance. I build 100%. With our own resources,
Oh,
and that is just my vision.
That's the
There's
drive.
nothing. Yeah, that's the drive, and it comes from a lot of people might think that's cocky or arrogant, but it just comes from. It's not that. It comes from a humble heart, and that is the vision that I've got to say. I want to build and own and control the end-to-end value chain. It's got nothing to do with arrogance or whatever. Just the vision that I've got.
I see.
People do it differently. People believe building in equity and selling it to the relevant people. People believe in and building on equity and getting few shareholders, private or public equity. My vision is not like that. My vision is to build with my own, and own the end-to-end vision, value chain.
That's
so
beautiful.
yeah.
That's beautiful. I want you to take me back. I mean, you spoke about where you started in your garage.
Yeah.
And I just want the story before then, because somehow, having been an accountant, having been supported by this big company that has sponsored you through your studies, that has actually taken you, you've traveled the world, you went to work in Dubai.
Yeah.
And then what made you then leave all that things that sometimes it holds people back to leave that kind of luxury to come into business?
I think it's the kind of person that I am, I always tell my team, I always tell my family, and those who know me very well, I don't like comfort, any sort of comfort, leisure, personal and business. I'm just not a comfort guy. And I love living on the edge, It drives me. I love living on the edge. I always, actually, a friend of mine says I've got a huge risk appetite, and I think that's who I am, But just to answer your question, it's I come from humble beginnings, actually, in a village called Pake. It's about 56 kilometers outside Hammanskraal. I used to walk to school, and even when the way I got into, when I came to Joburg to further my studies in accounting, my dad sold his car for me to be in varsity.
Oh, wow.
So, and because he just believed I was so good with accounting at high school, or my grades were so nice, my results were so good, in accounting, that he believed that I can really do well in that field of study. So, with varsities, that most of the time, you get to varsity, you pay like either a deposit, and then you arrange a payment plan on a monthly basis. If you've got the money, they pay the whole year, or whatever the case might be. So with the proceeds that we've got from the sale of the car, my dad, we only had like enough money to pay deposit.
Wow.
So when I got there, I really understood where I was coming from. I understood what my dad has done for me, who's late now. But, because I understood my circumstances, I was like, for the fact that I'm at varsity, it means I've got an opportunity. And I believe in maximizing opportunities. I maximized it. I got 100% bursary, to study. And when I was studying in my second year, I got it through Tomorrow Trust. When I got it in the second year, I became the top accounting student of the year. PwC came through looking for a student, who's can do well, who they can sponsor, and they selected me. So my point is this: I'm a person who believes in maximizing opportunities, because even when I worked for PwC, right, my first project in asset management, I delivered,
Oh, wow.
and then I built the right credentials, in the firm, and then the next project came, I kept on going in terms of maximizing that. Then the opportunity to come to Dubai came. When I got to Dubai, through the travel allowances, the subsistence allowances, expenses, my salary was more. I didn't use that money and spend it. I saved it, and I took the money, and then used it as seed capital to start the business.
Wow.
So what I'm trying to say, if you look at my story, just high level. Even when I was in varsity and living in Alexandra, I used to sell perfumes door to door. So I've always been that guy who
has something to
what I'm saying,
be able to generate income.
On. Like, I've always, if you look at it's always about, I grab this, I get the next bottle. I get 3 bottles, I get 4 bottles.
You know how to multiply.
I know how to multiply. So and I always tell my team, I'm one guy, and then it comes from a humble heart, but I don't think there's any opportunity that I've wasted.
Yeah.
Regardless of shape, size, or form. I've always been that guy.
I love
Yeah.
what you're saying about maximizing on the opportunity given, because many of people are given opportunities whereby, your dad had to sell a car for you to go to school. Some people have parents who have enough to support them. Entrepreneurs, there are those who are supported through programs.
100%.
And then it's a matter of, how do I now take what I've been given to me to maximize it? So now, that is one thing that we should not take any opportunity for granted.
Yeah.
It is powerful what you're saying, and I think we need everybody to understand that opportunity given, maximize it, multiply yourself in it.
100%.
So would you say, when you moved from being an accountant to starting this empire, you reinvented yourself, or would you say it was continuation of who you are?
I think there's parts of it that has a lot to do with reinventing, because from the way you structure a business, the way you approach your opportunities, it differs all the time, and sometimes I'm a person that likes reflecting on different types of milestones, and I think that's where the reinvention comes to say, geez, man, that was a great project, a great opportunity, but next time I can do better, and this is how I should make sure that I maximize it and sort of differentiate myself from the rest, so there's parts of that, but a lot of it comes from that, living in the edge, because when you live in the edge, you're always sort of at the forefront of everything else, and that breeds a lot of innovation, that breeds a lot of change, it initiates a lot of change. So because I'm that type of person that doesn't like comfort, it comes by default most of the time, because I'm at the edge. It means that I need to sort of initiate change, do things the first time, and then try to do them well.
I was reading a book by the E-Myth. Have you read it?
No.
It's talking about three types of entrepreneurs, and also it talks about you as an entrepreneur, that you can move from one level to the other. The first one, which is what you're talking about, is the being able to come up with a concept, now implementing and ensuring that it comes to birth and people starting to recognize it. The second one is remaining in the kitchen to refine and keeping on finding new ways of innovating and making sure this product is sustainable, it grows. And the last one is the strategic level, where now you start looking at different areas of penetrating so that you can push this product. So the E-Myth talks about, there are entrepreneurs who end up being caught in the kitchen. They never get out of the kitchen. Where are you now? Are you out of the kitchen, or are you still in the kitchen?
I think I'm out of the kitchen, and I'll tell you why. Because in as much as we started from humble beginnings in Alex, right? So one thing coming from corporate that I understood, like I mentioned earlier on, it's building a value chain. It's corporatizing your business. It's building the right back office, right? So that you don't stay too long frying in the pan, and you can literally drive other parts of the house. So for me, it's something that I really understood. I understood from the day I started to say, actually I'm the first person to sell our own pairs, the first few pairs. I'm the first person to start our social media pages. I'm the first person to basically do a lot of things in the business. But now they're not part of my day-to-day responsibilities, because now I do more strategy and growth. Our back office at the moment, we employ about 80 plus people. We're actually moving to a bigger headquarters in Centurion, about 3,700 square meters. And what I've done is that in the value chain, in the back office, I've recruited young, qualified black professionals that have worked for great corporates. Our marketing managers work for great corporates. You know, a lot of people in our business have worked for great corporates that have
They're
recruited.
experienced.
So they're experienced, you know, so that I can focus on the strategy and the growth of the business without being, you know, involving myself in too many dynamics, you know, of the business, like delivering the product and doing whatever. So maybe I do spend time in the kitchen, but my role in the kitchen is not about switching on the stove or anything else.
Yeah.
It's about probably making sure that the ingredients and everything else
Are still same consistent.
same consistent.
As you have started.
Yeah, and then I keep on expanding the kitchen and making it more bigger, more beautiful. You know.
I
So,
love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I love that. I love the fact that you're talking about hiring right, because one of the challenge as entrepreneurs is the ability to bring the right people into the bus.
That's very important. You know, I always say this when I have conversations with and what I've studied in the world is that the greatest entrepreneurs and the billionaires. I always say that the billionaires and greatest entrepreneurs are not the smartest people in the world.
Yeah.
Like if you had the chance to speak to the greats of the great entrepreneurs and the wealthiest people, you'll actually get to understand that they're not that smart.
True.
They're not the smartest, but however, they're the bravest.
Yeah.
And then they are the people that have managed
Jack
to
Ma
put...
is also saying that.
Yeah,
He said, I'm not smart.
Yeah, no,
I
a
just
lot of them are
surround myself
not.
with the smart people.
But a lot of them, what they've done well is that they've put great team in
Together.
place together. Like the greatest people, the greatest team. They've got the greatest team or board of counsel that advises them, you know, as to how to make moves. Yeah.
And also you can learn as well from them. I always
Yes.
say if you're an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, you are only the one who's teaching people. You must know that you are not with the right team.
Absolutely.
Because you need to be learning from your own team. Because
Absolutely.
they come with their own expertise.
Yes.
And one thing that I know for sure that small businesses normally are failing to do is to hire the right people and pay and give them the right salary. And when I say to them, why are you hiring the person you're hiring? They say, no, because I can't afford a qualified person. And I always say that's another way of self-sabotage, because a qualified person is going to be able to pay themselves.
Yes.
What do you
My
think
thoughts
about that?
exactly, because you know, I think sometimes because a lot of us, you know, we were not exposed to the dynamics of building corporates and businesses,
Yeah.
you know, at dinner tables.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you know, we come from a school of thought that, you know, you need to save money, or you know, you can't spend too much money on whatever, right? But you know, business, you know, for you to grow a business, you need to spend money in the right avenues, and part of the greatest avenues is getting the right people in the business and paying them what they're worth, because that's not even a big exercise, because you get the great person right in your team, you know, they will be able to pay themselves, like you said.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, I've got the same, I share the same ethos or the same view, because you know, I understand that, you know, it's not the founder or one person that grows the business, but it's the people in the business. I always say that, you know, our vision is to, you know, obviously, like I said, building a shoe brand that Africans can proudly affiliate with, reigniting hope and creating sustainable jobs. And in my view, Theo Baloyi doesn't create jobs. The people on the ground, you know, create jobs. The people that are on the floor, from retail to our ops team, you know, that are working and making sure that the product and the brand is out there. Those are the people who create jobs, because that's where the value is. That's
And
where
and the customers as
and
well
the
are the
customers
ones
as
who
well,
are creating
who are
jobs.
creating jobs. Yeah, you know. So for me, it's about that. You know, it's about, you know, I believe that it's if you get the right, you know, if you spend on the right thing, you're gonna get the value back.
Another thing, I love reading books, right?
Yes.
Another one I came across, it's just that I've been trying to find the name of the book, but I know what I want to talk about is, they say you need not to find the people who are right for the position.
Yeah.
You need to create positions, and then the position will find the people.
I mean,
What
I
is
agree
it,
with
what is your thinking around? Do you believe that you first have to create positions and then look for people, or you need to get the people and then you find their position with it? Because what basically the tribe is, most of us are always getting, you know, this organogram of saying there's a CEO, there's a salesperson, and then you have people and then they're placed in the wrong positions.
I believe I've got the same ethos, and I believe that, and I think for me, my benefit, you know, and it's just my view, and I put a disclaimer, it's just my view. It's not how it's supposed to be, but the way I look at it. I believe the business, you know, there's a economics thing that says business is a separate legal entity. I believe a business has a way of talking to the entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
The business speaks to you every day,
Yeah.
and it will tell you what it needs.
Yes.
And then you need to listen to
And
it.
you need to listen, because there's a time when you are stagnant and say, this is not how it's done.
Yes,
Then you'll miss the opportunity and the moment.
100%. So sometimes I as Theo Baloyi might feel like I don't want to spend that money, I don't want to do that. But it's not the business. Bathu will say to me, I need it. For me to grow and to really, achieve the objective and the vision, I need this. So going back to your question, it's also about that. The business will tell you what it needs, what kind of people, what legs, what positions, what value, what assets. And then as an entrepreneur, you need to, it's very important to be in tune with your business, to be in tune with the voice of your business, align it with what it tells you. Because if you miss that, you're gonna do so many, wrong decisions. You're gonna make the wrong moves because you will be listening to your own voice rather than what the business says to you.
But many of us as entrepreneurs, we operate from fear. When you say you need to listen to what the business is saying to you, how does one overcome that fear that says, if you take this money now, by the end of the month, you won't have money to pay salaries?
And I think for me, look, I think it differs case to case, right? But for me, if there's fear in anything else that you say you believe in, then it questions your belief in that thing. Yeah, for me, that's how I look at it. To say if you're saying you believe in something and you really truly believe in it and you are for it for 100%, then there shouldn't be fear, irrespective of what the world is saying, the market is saying. But if you really believe in that thing,
in your dream, in that product,
product that you have, then you should be.
You give it your all.
You give it your all, because there shouldn't be any sort of fear that stops you from.
Yeah, I mean, as human being, I'm a life coach, and one of the things that when I sit with my entrepreneurs, I always find that, as you are saying, conditioning, how we were cultured into business, the stories that were told about business. I mean, if you look at especially African cultures, whenever an entrepreneur says, I'm starting a business, nobody claps for them.
Right, yes.
Everybody else is like, huh? How strong, but you're starting a business, you're strong.
Yeah.
So we enter into that thing of the noises that are saying you're not going to make it. So how they are unable to separate themselves from the strong belief that they have about what they're doing to the noises that are coming and saying, it's not possible. No, you can't do it. So that's where fear also comes in, especially when you opens your heart and your spirit to the noises that are around you.
I like what you mentioned, spirit, and you being a life coach. I always say this. When I left, when I left my job in Dubai, tax-free salary, 4 times what I was earning in South Africa, and I didn't leave because I had office politics. I was up for promotion. I built great relations with different nationalities in the EMEA market. And I was doing so well. I was the only black guy in the office, so everyone liked me. I don't know if they're doing me a favor, but they just liked me.
It's your aura.
Yeah.
I call it your aura.
Yeah.
They were resonating to who you are, the energy that you brought into the room.
But I left it.
Yeah.
And I quit it because, I quit it because the inner voice.
Yeah.
And I often say this, that when people criticize you, when people judge you, when people say no to you, you shouldn't take it personal. You know why? Because they're never there when God spoke to you.
Yeah.
You were alone when God spoke to you. So how do you expect me to?
They don't understand.
To understand you. You know what I mean?
They don't understand.
So when people say no, when people say that's not gonna work, when people say it's off or whatever the case might be,
your knowing must be so strong.
Your knowing must be so strong, and you should be so authentic to your core, because it simply means that they're not wearing the same lens as you. They've got a different lens on. They don't see what you see. They don't hear what you hear. They were never there when God spoke to you. So, I was so authentic to my core, so in tune with this vision that I created. To a point that I actually went to my boss's office and said, like, hey, Nels, I'm going to quit. Not because you've done anything to me or you've mistreated, but there's this bigger calling that I need to respond to. And I left, right? And he wished me well. Quite ironic, because a few weeks ago, he actually sent me a LinkedIn message and said, Theo, when I wished you well, I didn't wish you this well. I just wanted you to be Now it's too much, So I think it's about that you need to understand that, and that's why fear comes in. There's the inner voice when it speaks. You need to be in tune. And the minute you start listening to Theo, if Theo says he likes the idea or not, you're out. Because remember, Theo was not there. When you were dreaming, when you were praying, when you're speaking to your God, when you're looking to your vision, you're alone. I can't see what you see. I can't be in your mind. So irrespective of whether you like it or not, I mean, even today, there's a lot of people that criticize me when I started. even today, there are people who are still
continuously
wondering.
criticize.
They're wondering why
everything
are still opening stores in COVID. You were not there. You don't know what's in my heart. You don't know what I see. You don't know what God tells me. You know what I mean? So it's fine. You can say whatever. So for me, I'm one that doesn't take. I always say that because I've got such a strong self-esteem. It's hard to bring me down. I'm still here to see a day where I can't get out of bed because I'm depressed. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but for me, because I'm so in tune with who I am in my core, it's hard to get me down in that sense.
Yeah. I love what you're saying so much. I resonate because I feel like we are the same.
Yeah.
My energy is so much that sometimes it is too bright. People, they find it intimidating.
Sure.
And they do want to make it my problem and they hate me, and it has nothing to do with me.
Amen. Amen to that. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with you. It's not your problem.
Whoever hates you, it has nothing to do with you. It's their own limitation and their own fear of their own greatness.
Right.
So I would love us to talk about the reinvention, especially in the space of expansion. You have done what you're doing. You have expanded. You have gone into different stores, and you have opened you are probably occupying the land now all over the country. What's next? Because I do believe there's another level where you have already been in your mind, where we haven't seen it yet. Can you invite us into that thought?
Okay, cool. Good question. So 18 months of research and development, proof of concept, registering the business, working in silence, right? And one of the things that I found out was that actually we've got about 7 continents in the world. You look at South America, Brazil, in terms of footwear, they've got about 2 big brands, Ipanema and Havanians. The States, USA, has got Nike, started by Phil Knight, that is a popular brand, and we also have something that we embrace as ours, but it was not ours, a brand called Converse, started by a guy called Chap Taylor. You've got a lot of European shoe brands, that we embrace as ours, a lot of Italian shoe brands that we embrace as ours. I came to our continent, Africa, and I couldn't find one shoe brand that we can benchmark with. Benchmark with in terms of product quality, brand story, brand promise, brand values, benchmark in terms of revenue, market capitalization, benchmark, you can even take it further to CSI. And I came down and it's like, look, this has to change because we consume so much of sneakers, billions and billions of US dollars, in this continent that leaves this continent, that does nothing for us. And I was like, I need to start changing that. And when I wanted to change it, I didn't want to change it because I want to feel it. It's part to that's it. I wanted to build an experiential brand. Experiential brand in a sense that we create innovative sneakers that are unique. Experiential in terms of the way we communicate our brand story. Experiential in terms of when we're building stores, it's just not going to be stores. They're going to be unique. And not only that, but when you come to our stores, we're going to build an experience that it's going to literally make us different. I mean, one of the things you spoke about inviting you into that headspace. One of the things that we're implementing that I haven't seen, I stand to be corrected, but I haven't seen even local brands and big brands doing it the way we're going to do it. It's a sneaker customization. So we are building our stores in a sense that we're starting to build sneaker customization galleries, so that when you get into our store, you buy a sneaker and you can customize it in store for you, right? And it's an experience, right? We're even taking further to build something that I've never seen in the world. We're going, now I'm telling you my plans. So in the next few months, we will be launching something called sneaker customization galleries. So it's not a store, but it's a store where you go, you customize your sneakers, but it's exclusively Bathu sneakers. And then you go in there and we customize your sneakers, so you can build your own shoe. And then that's some of the things that we want to reinvent. So going back to an idea of building a sneaker brand that Africans can proudly affiliate with, reigniting hope and creating sustainable jobs. It's not a saying that we say for the fun of it, but we really mean that the way we're going to do our products, I mean, the summer products that are coming now are going to be crazy, innovative. So we don't look at a sneaker brand and put a logo on it. We innovate and we make sure that our sneaker technology is on another level, So with the things that we've got, the plans that we've got in the future, they're going to be amazing because we are an experiential African sneaker brand. We're doing things that even these European shoe brands that I've mentioned, Italian shoe brands that I've mentioned, they don't do this. Imagine buying a sneaker and you go to this hub where you can literally customize your sneaker, your purchase the way you want to do it.
So now the artists must be ready because they're going to be in each and every store to customize the sneakers.
Absolutely, and for me that's also another way of reinventing the brand and reinventing ourselves. So when I was very, very specific about the kind of brand that I want to build, I didn't want it to just to be a brand that comes and goes. So I wanted to make it fun, innovative, and sort of try to benchmark it. I mean, if you look at it, if Italians can come here and then we can wear the Italian shoes, why can't we be in Italy and Italians can say that is Bathu? It's a proudly South African sneaker brand.
So Theo, there are many who believe that the sneakers, Bathu sneakers, are expensive.
Yeah.
And here you are putting the stores in the township where the economy, they believe it's not so affording of the brand price. How do you answer to that?
I think it goes to show, the mindset that we've got as African consumers. That we have this thing that anything that is ours should be less inferior or less in
yes.
It shouldn't be as good as something that is not ours. You know what I mean? So for me, I know the work that went into our product development. We did with our mesh edition, we did about 21 samples because we had to keep on, enhancing the quality of the shoe and the technicalities of the shoe. So it's as good as the international footwear brands. And it's unfortunately we still have a long way to go. We as a people, as African consumers, in terms of consuming our own, because it's something that we're not used to. You know, because maybe because through our experiences that anything that is of ours, probably
it has to be cheap.
It has to be cheap, or it shouldn't be that expensive. It shouldn't be that good. You know what I mean? So that's the mindset that we're also trying to change. Yeah.
And I think it's beyond just the mindset. One of the biggest failures of our entrepreneurs is costing.
Yeah.
When people do not know how to cost their product correctly, they are sometimes they're bound to fail.
Yeah.
Because if ever you don't understand your costing, I trust you because you're an accountant.
Yes.
I understand why would you call, because you understand what went into this product
100%.
for it to be produced.
Yeah.
This to come out.
Yes.
And most of us are failing at that. We are always listening to people saying it's expensive. We are listening, but we do not go into our costing to say what's my break-even point and what's my profit margins on each brand. And that's one of the key things as business owners, to really be equipped with understanding of the costing of our products and the ability to understand when are we going below the belt, below the mark.
Yeah.
So I love what you're saying. And secondly, what came to mind as you were speaking, I looked at the way you guys do social media, how you communicate to your customers.
Yeah.
And for me, that's another way of reinventing. It's like every day there's a new thing that you come. I mean, I looked at Mandela Day. There was this sneaker. I went for that sneaker. And I didn't find. You owe me that sneaker.
We should. That's the customization experience.
I went to Mamelodi to look for that sneaker. And only when I get there, they said, no, it was just for display.
Yes.
Guys, you robbed me.
Don't worry, with the innovation and what we bring, the new model of customization, you will have the liberty to do whatever that you want to do in a shoe. To put your face, to put Tata's face, to write anything. You can do it, and that's the experience that we bring to our consumers as well.
Nice. I'm looking forward. But then the last point that I want us to talk about, I went to Chinatown one day.
Yes.
And I came across something that looked like this. And I even took a picture. I think I sent you a picture to say,
Yes.
What's happening here? And I love the way you answered me.
Yeah.
You said, no, we're taking care of it.
Yeah.
How did you take care of it?
So, a good question. So, the 18 months, I was Puseletso is that, the accountant in Theo really, put in the work, in the 18 months. And one of the 18 months, we did research and development, like I said, proof of concept and everything else. One of the research topics that I worked on, I think it was for about 2 months out of that 18 months, was counterfeit. Because I studied counterfeit, like as to, how are big brands dealing with it. And I came up with a counterfeit methodology. So to answer your question is that before they even copied, I knew they were going to copy. Before I even launched the brand, I knew that there's this segment of the business. I even knew that the minute I become a success, there's going to be other brands that come.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To copy Bathu. I was very much aware of that.
Yeah.
So because I did the 18 months and the work, right? We already developed the counterfeit methodology that when it happened, we just had to action it and implement it. And another thing is that, with the studies that, and I know people, this is my view, a lot of people will probably sort of challenge me for saying this, but this is my belief. A counterfeit is sometimes good for the brand. It's good for the brand in many senses because, when counterfeit happens, it gives you room as a brand to communicate your unique selling proposition. It gives you room to communicate, your product differentiator, to say which one is original, which one is not. And then it gives you room to have a dialogue with your consumers, right? And I kid you not, when that counterfeit thing happened on social media, our sales tripled.
I know.
Because people were like, this is our own. I need
We
to
need to
make
protect
sure
it.
that what I'm supporting it right.
The right
So
thing.
people now started asking, how do I know which one Bathu is right? And the good thing about our model is that Bathu is exclusively available at Bathu stores.
Yes.
So if you see it in XY trading,
It's not it.
what apparel or whatever, you just know by default to say, Bathu, I can only find it at Bathu stores. So if it's any other store, whether it's in the mall or wherever, you know by default that
It's not the one.
It's not the one.
But then I also see that you added the writing on it, which was never there before.
Yeah.
Is that how you worked into?
Yeah, so
that
this is the 2.0,
differentiating
the
the-
differentiating as well. Our trademarks and everything else in the shoe, those type of things, So it's good in that sense because, and I've not only, so this was the study, but I've seen it when we implemented it because of that months, I think 4 or 5 months. And the timing was perfect because it was towards festive season.
Yes.
Busy selling
Then
season
it's
for us.
like boom.
So it was boom. And I
It
think
worked at
that's
your advantage.
out our advantage.
I
because,
put that post, it went viral.
Yeah. Yes, because of people were like the story about Bathu, people and the love for the brand. So people now had to be cautious to say, I need to make sure that I'm getting the right one. Right?
Exactly.
And then what happens to the dialogue?
And it doesn't feel the same, I do believe, because even when I held it, I could tell that the material used,
Yes.
they're totally different. You can
Yes.
tell a quality material and the poor
Absolutely.
quality material.
Absolutely. And now it got so bad, so that even the people that were selling counterfeit, they started being scared because they were being attacked.
Yes.
So like South Africans will go and attack them to say, why are you doing this to our brand and stuff like that. So they started feeling it now, and then they removed it. So we didn't even have to involve police, and then a lot of them removed it because now they felt that people are going to attack them because of there can be violence to your stores and all of those type of things.
Which was
because
illegal,
of which was illegal. So now they started being, a little bit sensitive about selling this brand because South Africans were like, we don't care. You can do Nike, you can do whatever, but not this brand.
Not this brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the approach that people gave them. And then I think they started being sensitive and they started removing them.
I love that. I love that. But people look up to you. Entrepreneurs specifically are now looking at you as a leader, as an exemplary of something from a humble beginning can grow to this beautiful empire.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I want to say you are giving South Africa hope. We are proud of who you are, what you are doing, and who you are becoming.
Thank you.
Because there's more from you. I feel like there's a lot of seeds inside you. Bathu is one of them. There are many other brands that are going to be birthed by that kind of energy and who you are. I don't know if ever your story you think is good enough when you look at yourself, because I want to bring this to the table because many entrepreneurs, they don't know that they're dynamic. They don't know that they are great. They don't know their power. I know you said you're confident, but do you even understand the magnitude of your impact?
Look, I think I get that a lot, and thank you for your kind words. I'm really, really humbled. It's humbling, especially from someone like you, to receive such. I'm humbled by that. Thank you so much. I have that a lot of those conversations, especially with my team, and I always say this because I'm so in tune with the vision, and I'm every day when I wake up and every day when I sleep, it's always Bathu, and I'm in the work, so I probably don't see it, because for me the vision is bigger, in terms of
it's like you haven't started.
It's like I haven't started, I shock my team all the time because our vision is to open about 600 stores, worldwide, and for me that's the vision. We're only sitting in 10, so you can imagine the 590 stores that I'm still yet to open. So I'm in tune with the 590, and I'm off tune with the 10 that are existing
That
because
already,
of
it's done.
So and I think that's what keeps me going, the 590 stores that I want to build in the next coming years, and I'm in tune with that, and I just keep on pushing. But to answer your question, I think I'm so authentic to my core, and I'm doing this with clear intentions, and I think I've proven it many times, even when I started, when circumstances were unfavorable, and I still went ahead and pursued the vision, and because of that, I'm so glad that it reignited hope, because of the analogy and the connotations around South African businesses and South African brands. It bothers me, because Nike started as an urban brand. If you look at the story, Under Armour started as an urban brand. I mean, Kevin Plank just wanted to do shirts for athletes, and it started like a sale. However, you look at them today, the way they build them, those businesses are listed. Yet we as African brands, not even South Africa, I don't know of an African brand that is listed, that even when you're watching the news there, you see the stock price and the money. Why is that?
We only know the big brands when they want sponsorship to sponsor programs on
yes,
TV.
on TV, and for me it's always that, because the narrative around South African brands always it starts, and then 2-3 years Nyamalala, it starts, So for me it's always, I've always carried that to say I want to build a brand that is sustainable, that can live way beyond me, and I want to do it not because of any other thing, but I want to do it my own way and building the value chain. I believe in the value chain so much, because that's something that we've missed a lot. Like I said at the beginning, everything else that we do in this business, we do it our own. From the trucks to the stock to everything else. It's our own. And for me, that's how I want to build it as well.
So when is your book coming? Here's mine. When is yours coming? Because what you are talking about, we read a lot about this concept in many books out there, but we want to get it from our African brother.
100%.
When are you downloading this powerful mind of yours on paper?
So we have management meetings every Monday in the business with the manager, and I've been tasked with, actually from the beginning of Feb, I've been tasked with this exercise to write a book. They've actually given me a journal, that I keep in my office, and they say that every time when something comes up, I should just write it. I should just put it down.
Also, it's coming.
So so I've been tasked with that. I don't know when it's coming. They'll let me know when I'm done with the task. I'm just doing my task. So I've been tasked to write my thoughts down. So
I look forward reading it, because I know that it's going to change many business landscapes. I know that there are great people with a lot of beautiful ideas that they can also come and add into this business, because you are not, as one person, we are not islands. There's still more to learn. You are still in the journey of learning even further from where you have equipped yourself. And I'm sure you are open to getting also people coming up with some concept and so on. I know that many people, when they see a success and they see somebody doing well, they always say, what are you doing to empower the young ones? What are you doing as part of your maybe your give back? What I want to know is, do you even take others to mentor them?
So what I do, I mean, I've done this a lot during lockdown. I would get like mentorship sessions, either visually or on social media, and I also try to
I saw you did on Instagram most of the time.
On
right?
Instagram most of the time, and I've done with other organizations where we did master classes. But once in a while, I also try to even internally to host those kind of conversations with our people, the team, and there's a few other people that I mentor in my personal capacity as well. We would just like go out for breakfast and then just try to mentor. And I think I believe in more sharing my story more than anything else, because I don't have it figured out myself. So it's just me just telling my side of the story and how I look at things and how I put out my opinions or how I think, or just my thoughts around certain things, out there. So I try to do that a lot,
I really love your way of how you packaged yourself, you as a brand, you as a person, and you as a brother. These things, they play a role in in what we do. But in SE Squared, as part of this conference that we are having today, the event that we are having today, you resonate a lot with the thought behind what E Squared is trying to do in terms of building the excellence in entrepreneurship. I feel like you are a typical example, or the output that they are aiming at in everyone who is a fellow on the program, whom they are hoping that one day they will share their story as you are sharing it today. So I would like to say the seed that you have shared with us today is going to go far, because the heart of E Squared, it's really based on the ability to build sustainable businesses that can grow beyond the owners.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So what's your exit strategy?
To be honest with you, I don't have an exit strategy per se as yet, but I know at some point
It
I will
will
need to,
come.
I'll need to start thinking about it. But now, I'm just focusing on building the value chain. I do have a strategy in terms of how we want to expand into a certain region, East Africa, and West Africa, and also the rest of the world. But for now, it's about building the value and then building the mechanics of the business, and then obviously, at some point, I need to sort of have a nice strategy around how to fund the expansion that I've got. But the exit one, I haven't thought about it. As
You
yet.
know, I'm also sad because you said you're not franchising this model. I was thinking I would take it to Lesotho, Eish.
Not what I meant by that is that not as yet.
Not
because
as
of
yet.
Now
Oh,
we're
thank
still
you.
building,
There's still another.
Yeah.
I've brought you this.
Thank
I've
you.
brought you Mind Retirement T-shirt, and it says, "I retire from doubting myself."
Amen. I
if
like
ever
that.
there are areas that you
Yes.
ever doubt yourself,
Yes.
retire from them.
Thank you.
And I brought the book because you're already in a state of retired mind,
Sure.
which is the one that is not limited by
Yes.
limiting beliefs,
Mhm.
that you are not distracted by the noise outside.
Yes.
You are listening to the inner voice, and you are acting according to how God is wanting you to move. And for that, I really declare you that you are in a retired state of mind.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
But thank you so much. I really had a great time.
I enjoyed myself too. Yeah, I equally enjoyed myself.
Okay. No, thank you. Thank you, everyone. And I know that there are a lot of questions that are coming from you. We are going to open the floor so that we can take questions. Remember, in the room right now, we've got many other experts that have come who will be able to take your questions, especially related to the topic that we are discussing today: how to reinvent your business so that it can become sustainable. Do feel free to put your questions on the chat box, or we will be taking them up now. Let's take a little bit of break, and then we'll be back. Thank you very much.